Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, and it's time for another hard rock and heavy metal update. In the background, we're listening to Outcast from Creator. This one was 97. This is a Gun Records release. It's the German pressing. I'm not sure if this was released, if this one saw an actual U.S. release, or if we just got copies of the German pressing, but regardless, that's what that is. Creator's one of those bands that just... I've really liked everything that they've put out, and this album's just another great example of that. So let's just kind of jump into the vinyl today. First up, man, this is one I ran across for really cheap, and I was really amazed that I found it for under $10, or maybe I paid $10 for it. But this is the first album from Witch. Witch was a doom metal band. It features, oddly enough, it was actually founded by Jay Mascis, who's famous for being, I believe he played guitar in Dinosaur Jr. He actually played drums for this band, which is where he got his start, was on drums. And it's also got the singer from King Tuff, who is a band I know of, but I've never heard before. This is on TP Records. I get to Kyle Thomas, that's who it is. And of course, Jay Mascis there. And this was released on really nice purple vinyl there. One of the local shops had a few really good doom albums. I really like this one. Their second album I didn't like as much. I haven't had it on vinyl. If I find it on vinyl, I'll grab it. But it was more like a mix of doom and down tempo, and it was a really weird mix of sounds on the second one. But this first album is just really good, straight up doom, and I really dig it. Next up, I got this from a member of the VC. The YouTube VC, they had this on sale for pretty cheap. This is New York City Mayhem, for real. They originally were called Mayhem, and then they had to change their name for legal reasons, so they added the NYC. These guys were pretty heavy into the punk, hardcore, and metal scene. In the mid-'80s, I mean, these guys played with Death. These guys played with, who all was it? Death was one of the biggest ones they played with, but they were playing with a lot of the death metal and thrash bands in the late 80s. This is a mix of 3, I believe, of their demos. Yeah. A demo from March 16th, 85. Another from June 16th, 85. And then for real, 7-inch, which is a really long 7-inch from 1985. So side A is the first 2 demos. Those are more of a hardcore sound. And then side B, later on in 85, they had moved more towards a crossover thrash. The crossover thrash is definitely my favorite part of this album, the B-side. This is definitely worth getting, though. This has about half of the stuff they released. There's another... CD that was put out by Hell's Headbangers. It's a double CD that has probably another hour and a half worth of material from the band. If you're into just really raw, hardcore, raw thrash, definitely worth picking this one up. I think you can get it for like $14-15 shipped. And this was released by Radio Raheem in Brooklyn. So... Next up, I ran across this for really cheap and just couldn't grab it fast enough. I'm a huge fan of UFO, especially this time period. So you've got Strangers in the Night. If I remember correctly, this was the last album featuring Michael Schenker as a member of UFO. I don't remember if I showed this one in my last update, but I was listening to it again yesterday. This is Look Into the Future from Journey. Again, this is the original lineup. This is before Steve Perry joined the band and kind of took them another route. This is when they were still a hard rock blues rock band. And this is probably my favorite of their first few albums, pre-Steve Perry. Definitely worth checking out. If you haven't heard that early Journey stuff, totally different than the AOR that they would put out 2 albums after this one. These next 3 kind of fit into the hard rock, heavy metal arena. I just picked them up. I decided to show them. A show of hands. Power Windows. What was the big one on? I don't remember. And then A Farewell to Kings. Now that all these box sets are coming out, people are selling their original pressings. It's the same thing with the Queen box set that just came out. I haven't seen it with the Bowie. But people are buying these box sets and they're selling out their original pressings, which kills me. Whatever, I'm buying them for. I don't think I paid more than $5 or $6 for each of those 3 Rush albums. That part of the box set probably would have been about $15, $16 in the condition that they're in, and they're in immaculate condition. Pretty sure I already showed this one, but maybe not. This is Styx, self-titled. I had a copy of this already. I ended up sending it to John, SMF Captain Howdy. I found a copy where the vinyl is near mint. I mean, it's in beautiful condition. Really nice VG Plus sleeve. The first 4 Styx albums on Wooden Nickel Records are kick-ass hard rock mixed with progressive prog. Highly recommend picking up those first 4. The third one, I can't think of the name of it right now. It's got a cobra on the front cover. Is my favorite of the first 4. This one's right there with it, though. They were re-released later on, but I don't like they don't sound as good as the Wooden Nickel pressings. They were remastered. I just don't like the way they sound. They're a little tinny compared to the originals. So if you see any of the Styx on Wooden Nickel, just grab it. There's actually 5 if you consider the comp. There was a best of comp that was released on Wooden Nickel a number of years later after they gained more popularity in the mid 80s. This one, I was on the VC webpage, I think, one of the online sites, and somebody was selling. Oh no, it was Rockadrome. Rockadrome sells new and used metal, and I was on there, and they had a copy of this for $20, an original pressing, but it was scratched up. Condition was okay, and then I decided to look on eBay to see if I could find one in better condition, and I ended up finding a sealed repress. This is the War on Music repress of War and Pain from Voivod. Just an absolute classic thrash album. Voivod is a band I'm just kind of getting into. I remember them from the time. I had a couple friends that were hardcore into them, and for one reason or another, I just never bought one of their CDs. And then I picked up their most recent CD and kind of dug it. So now I'm just kind of going back and checking out the earlier catalog. But this is definitely probably the most classic of all their albums. But again, War and Pain. And War on Music does a really good job on their represses. It's a Canadian repress label. Definitely worth checking out. They're putting out some really killer stuff. This next one is one that I've seen a couple of times, just not in very good condition, so I pass on it. And I finally found it in good condition. This is Vandenberg. And he went on to play with... he got most of his popularity from playing for Whitesnake. He played for them for quite a while, actually. But this is his first album. Really good, just guitar-driven hard rock. If you like Pat Travers, real similar to that style. But Vandenberg just kicks ass, man. He's a killer guitarist. And this one's a promo copy, but I picked this up for $3 or $4. I was glad to finally find a copy of this. This is one I've been looking for forever. I've talked about it in other videos. This is one of the few Kiss albums that I was missing, which is kind of sucked because this is also one of my favorite Kiss albums. But I was at an antique mall and found it for $6 and was blown away. The vinyl is in mint condition. It looks like it was never played. Even with the corner cut, it's a solid VG+. But I'm getting close to rounding out my Kiss collection. I think the last couple things I need are the Alive Millennium concerts. You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, which is a greatest, which is a comp. Actually, I think it's a comp from the Alives. And then I also need Killers. And then once I have those three, I've pretty much rounded out my Kiss collection. Next up, I showed the first one of these in my last heavy metal update. I finally got around to listening to the second one. Halloween, Keeper of the Keys, Part 2. Just another classic from the Halloween, the kind of the power metal, the kings of power metal, I guess. And this is my favorite era. I like pretty much everything Halloween did, but the first few albums with Kai on them, Kai Hansen, is really the favorite, or where it's at for me. Those are my favorites. And I believe this was the last album he was on, but don't quote me on that. Next up, I showed the first one of these in my last metal update too. I finally got around to listening to the others. Hell's Headbangers had a 3 albums for $16.66 sale going. I believe it's still going, so you may be able to get these still. But I ended up getting all 3 of the October 31st albums that they carried. October 31st is a thrash album. It features one of the guys from Deceased. I can never remember what his name is. This was a side project of his, though. This is their newest album, Bury the Hatchet. And this one is on this cool yellow and blue vinyl. And then I also picked up this one is Meet Thy Maker. And these albums are usually $16 to $18 a piece. So to find all 3 of them combined for $16.66 is just you can't beat that deal. And this one has disc 2 is on this black and gold Starburst, I guess, and then this is the A disc, which is like an orange or a brown and yellow. But man, $20 shipped for 3 killer thrash albums. If you're into thrash, I recommend going on to Hell's Headbangers quickly and get those while you still can. Filling in holes in my Rainbow collection. Just another killer album from Rainbow. This is bent out of shape. This one was 83. Next up, this one was kind of a blind buy. It looked kind of cool, so I grabbed it. It was sealed, and apparently for years this was really sought after by heavy metal collectors. I had never heard of it before. This is the only album that the band ever put out. For a long time, apparently this was going for a lot of money until the advent of the internet, and it made it a little bit easier to get a hold of. But it still goes for $20-25 sealed. I got it for $5. But this is Concrete Jungle, Wear and Tear. Concrete Jungle is a New York City band. It's kind of a mix of glam metal and melodic hard rock. I thought it was a really killer album. I really enjoyed it. And it's on ICBM Records. I don't know if that is a private press that they did themselves, or if ICBM was Actually, a label that was out there putting stuff out, but it's a New York label. And let's see, I want to say it was mid 80s when this came out. I'm not seeing it on here though. '88, okay. So this was actually kind of towards the end of the glam metal scene, which is probably why they never made it that big. Really good though. If you run across a copy, grab it. If you run across it on CD, grab it fast. The CDs are going for $65, $70. Apparently they were very limited. I mean, it was '88. But like I said, even the vinyl goes for $20, $25. Really good album though. And these last couple really blew me away. I found these for $11 a piece, and I had never heard the band. I knew of them. I've seen maybe Greeno showed one of their albums a while back. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was Greeno. Really killer doom, blues rock, 70s hard rock mix. Really digging this band. I definitely want to get their other two albums now. But this is Graveyard. Killer artwork here. This is their first album, self-titled. And this one is on clear, I don't know if that's orange or yellow. Yellowish orange vinyl. And then the second one, which is my favorite of the two, is called, I guess it's Hissingen Blues. But both of these albums kick ass, but this was really good. This one was released by Nuclear Blast in 2011. And apparently the shop that I got it from didn't look it up. This is the first pressing, which is real limited. I think they only did like 300 in this run. And it's on this clear and white Starburst vinyl. And this first pressing goes for like $45-50. And like I said, I paid $11 for it. These are still in print. You can still buy these for $18-20 brand new. But I highly recommend checking these out. If you like doom, if you like 70s hard rock, it's kind of all the best elements from both eras of the Sword. You know, the Sword had the earlier doom sound, and now they've gone more towards that 70s hard rock sound. And these guys combine it into one record. They just do a killer job. Like I said, I've got the first two now. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for the other two. And that's pretty much it, VC. Let me look around. Yeah, that'll be it for this update. I hope everybody's doing good. Have a good week, and I'll see you soon.